Hey, what's up? I'm back. Talking about now one of the most painful downsides of spiritual awakening. Um, so let's get right to it. The main thing is you find out that, in my experience, anyways, um, life is not what you thought it was. Um, that is the main thing. All this stuff from mainstream social conditioning. Um, a lot of it was actually hurting you, but society puts it like it's helping you. And it kind of is helping you if you are the type to follow the norms of society. If you're the type that didn't, like myself, I always had that free spirit, rebellious kind of nature, even before getting into punk rock or hip hop. Hip hop was, before it got too mainstream, it was, kind of like a another type of punk. Is I read a punk book, and it said hip hop was a black man's punk, and when you really think about it, kind of is. Even though there's a lot of punk black artists, but anyways, even before finding out I was an Indigo, and before all that stuff, so. um, Start with my experience. So growing up, ever since the age of 13, 14, I wanted to be a pro wrestler, kickboxer, MMA fighter. Um, so when I turned 14 back in 1999, one of the best years of my life, this game was out. It was X-Men versus Street Fighter, classic, right? So. Um, that was the year that it was brought to everyone's attention that certain conspiracy theory about wrestling was real. That we found out that pro wrestling really was fake. And I was like not accepting it because like wrestling was, you know, it was my life. Like I studied it. I had strategies to beat every wrestler out there. Even the Big Show, who's called the Giant at the time. I had strategies. I used to read out of the magazines, the Wrestling Analysis. I knew about moves that were only in Japan or in Mexico that haven't, America haven't seen yet. I was all into it, and yeah, and to find out it was predetermined. I knew it was kind of fake, but it was the predetermined part was the part that got me, and I was like, I started losing interest, and then I started getting into UFC because Ken Shamrock was in WWE or WWF, and he transitioned to UFC, and also the Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazines had UFC advertisements in the front of their cover magazines, and that was um, my first picture seeing Ken Shamrock, Royce Gracie, and Oli Taktarov. So this is like the era when UFC was a martial arts tournament rather than the spectacle it is now. So it was still like a martial arts tournament. It was like a real life blood sport, and it was awesome. And I was like 13 and 14 was the age where I was like, okay, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So I was born to do martial arts, and every time I tried to get away from martial arts or wrestling, something always brought me back. So that's another sign from the universe that this is what this is partially what I came on Earth to do. And I have other past lives, all past my past existence. I was involved with being a warrior or a martial artist. So, so fast forward to the year 2002. I was trying to get people to do it with me. and I Dragon Ball Z was the noise, at the time, and used to go on America Online, and he used to be chat rooms, and I met some guy, and he was an avid martial artist too. So we were talking, and I told him, you know, about the UFC plan and being kickboxer and all that, and he said something interesting that I didn't agree with at the time, but I started to um, agree with, and that he said the best fighters are not found on camera, and I was like, whoa, wait, huh? Um, this was before I found out about the UFC, what it really is, and I'll get to me explaining when I say what it really is. It's going to cause a lot of controversy, but so yeah, he said that, and I was like, what? So so I'm gonna fast forward to 2004. Well, I'm gonna fast forward to my early adult life. Um, I was trying. My plan was to make it in kickboxing, and then transition to UFC. Um, but what had happened was, because there was no gyms around, I had to learn wrestling on my own. I had to learn from watching tapes, videos, books. There was no grappling schools around at the time, so it was, I really had to find another way to, and I was very successful. So if anyone tells you you cannot do good being self-taught, that is so wrong, because I was able to do it. I'm actually undefeated in submission wrestling, and catch wrestling. So, and that was all self-taught. And I'm better at that than I am at stand-up fighting. And I was trained in the karate and boxing for stand-up fighting. So don't let anyone tell you that. They tell you that because they want to make money off of you. So anyways, they one story is I found a kickboxing place. This is basically a story saying my purpose wasn't to go over there to kickboxing or UFC. There was a Gold's Gym, and they had they had an underground level where there was a punching bag and some more weights. There was a kickboxing gym, okay, and went to sign up. The guy's name was Enslam, and had a meeting with him. Great. Looked like everything was going to go through, and I had financial difficulty, so I couldn't go. And plus, I didn't have a membership to the gym, so that was another issue. But then, next thing I know, they closed off the basement part of it, and the Islam guy disappeared. That was it. Typed his name. I had his full name. Typed his name for his gym on the search box. Nothing. Vanished. Okay. Another is, at the time, this is before Zumba, so every time I typed in kickboxing, kickboxing gyms to become a kickboxer, all I got was cardio kickboxing, like Taibo and stuff. Like I said, Zumba wasn't around at the time. This is like, Zumba was around the corner. Well, not even around the corner. It was like a good 5 years later. So
May I please have your attention? The time is now 10:45, and this price supper will
I
be
tried
closing in
to,
just 15 minutes.
so then
Please bring your final collections to the
I used to
East
jog
End
at
Registry
Wickham
front of
Park.
the store at this time. Thank you for choosing
It's a
Price
park
Chopper,
in
and
Manchester,
have a wonderful evening.
Connecticut, and I used to jog up the hill, and there was a guy that saw me, and he was like, "Oh, you're ripped, what kind of athlete are you?" Some guy, I'm martial arts. I'm looking to be a kickboxer, and I have a gym. So he gives me his number, and I put the number in my pocket, and go all the way, finish my workout. There was a fitness course in the woods. I did do pull-ups, dips, finish the workout, and then I come back home, and I reach in my pocket, and the note with his number is gone. It is vanished, never to be seen again. I went back. It wasn't a windy day, so I went back, retraced my steps. The guy wasn't there. The note that had his number on it wasn't there. Every time I went to Wickham Park after that, looking for him, hoping that him and his girlfriend were getting a tan. Never saw these people again. So looking back, it's telling me that my focus of being a martial artist was helping me becoming a warrior today, but I just won't be accomplishing the fame and fortune that I wanted, because, it's, I was made for something better, even better, like the whole spiritual warrior thing, being on that fight to take down the New World Order and all that stuff. So that's, and then now, after I hit 34, now I'm finding out East Hartford has a gym where they train for MMA and kickboxing stuff, and they're not going to accept me now. In their standpoint, I'm too old. So I think the sign there is I was I wasn't. The universe was training me to be what I am now, but I had to have that focus there, So, fast forward to, nowadays, turns out that the UFC is also predetermined like wrestling. It's another pro wrestling spectacle. Now, before people jump on me and call me crazy, who remembers when Ronda Rousey dropped the title? Okay, it's a common thing in pro wrestling, and Hulk Hogan did it all the time. When he had the world title, he would drop the title and then make a movie. He would drop the title to make a movie. So Ronda Rousey did the same thing when she lost to Holly Holmes. She was going to make a movie, and look at that, she loses, drops the title, and and also, how many times have you ever seen the WWE title in the UFC? Have you ever seen the UFC title in the WWE? Brock Lesnar and another fighter, I forgot his name, before they went to the next, to the other promotion, they dropped the title before. It's the same thing as back in the day with WCW and WWF. It's, and there's other videos about, MMA being rigged. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they're not legitimate fighters. There's the same thing with pro wrestling. Bret Hart, Kurt Angle, these were legitimate wrestlers before becoming pro. Bret Hart had a nice winning streak in the amateur wrestling before becoming pro. Kurt Angle, he was an Olympic gold medalist. Brock Lesnar, before he was the NCAA heavyweight champion in amateur wrestling. So, just because it's predetermined doesn't mean they're not actual warriors. They're still warriors, but it's just, there's other videos out there about MMA being fake. This is not the focus of that, but, another example was Pride Fighting Championships that was in Japan. That was, that they pretty much admit that was predetermined. And, Japan, Pride was more technical, while UFC was more strikes and brawling, high impact stuff. It's the same thing in pro wrestling. In America, where we love the high spots, better, where Japan appreciates the actual technical wrestling of the groundwork, the holds, the submissions, the slow pace. Japan appreciates the skill and technique over there better than we do here. It's the same thing. So, in the end, it looks like, and then the UFC, the first UFC, they picked the fighters. It was Superfoot Bill Wallace even said, the first UFCs that was there to promote Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So they picked the fighters knowing that they're not going to be able to defend against Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, except for Ken Shamrock. Ken Shamrock made a mistake. If you look at his interviews, he thought Gracie was a stand-up fighter because of the gi, so he underestimated him. Other than that, imagine if he didn't. But Bill Superfoot Wallace even said there was somebody next to him on the commentary booth telling him what to say. So those fighters that were there, there was never a thing to sign up for. They were handpicked, knowing that they were going to lose. So that was a different type of rigged, So anyways, another painful experience about spiritual awakening is when you're around a group of people that you really love and adore, and you realize they're just not on the same page as you. I haven't experienced family members calling me crazy or anything, but people, if you believe in conspiracy theories and spiritual stuff, they start to distance themselves from you. They start unfriending you on social media, and it's they'll do it for the dumbest reasons because of your spiritual awakening, because you start to realize what they don't realize. When you have your third eye open, you see the unseen and know the unknown. And some people really hate you for not following the norm, and that was before spiritual awakening. But now, when you see certain things about situations that the media is telling you, and you don't see it that way because your third eye is open, and people will hate you for it, and that's another reason. And also, it's just people that are very mainstream are just going to look at you and, in disgust, because, and now we're getting to the point where they want to fight you, and I'm going to do another video my next video is probably going to be about why I think spiritual people should take up martial arts, because another storm is probably going to come. But anyways, you start to realize the stuff that you thought was on your side, it's really not so much on your side. Doctors prescribe these medicines that the side effects is kind of killing you. The fluoride in the water, the stuff you trusted, the people that I don't want to say governs or controls all this stuff is really against you, have their own agenda that is not for your best interest or best health. You start to realize that, and another painful thing is you see if you're on social media, you see other spiritual people, and we're just scattered, and I found a group of spiritual people in my vicinity, my area, like Mateo Cruz, shout outs to you, Chad Walker's, Noel, Kelly Johnson, shout outs to you guys, Julia, Leonard, Ali, or Angela, Corey, and all the women that I just mentioned. Again, they ooze sex appeal. Just had to get that out. But, it's, there's a lot of people on my social media I would love to meet, and we're just so far away from each other. And now, this other thing with COVID is it's us that don't want to be vaccinated, because we're free thinkers, because we're free spirited. They put these vaccine laws so we don't go and see each other, because some of us are starting to go and meet each other. It's a beautiful thing, but we're that's not always a bad thing. Sometimes we are spread out, for strategical reasons from the universe or our spirit guides, that we're here for a purpose. That is why I cannot get out of Connecticut. Growing up, I wanted to move to California. Wanted to move down south recently, couldn't do that. You know, something's always keeping me here. But I started to realize, like here in my job, they're like, you know, Ed, we need you. You're like our last hope. They're treating me like I'm Goku or Superman, you know. So you start, and the people I've healed with Reiki, and some people just say my persona and strong, you know, the whole strong style thing that you guys see on Facebook. Some people said that actually have helped people and helped them. So they basically tell me I'm healing people that I don't realize I'm doing it, and I wouldn't have realized it until they told me. So it's just it means a lot, but we're spread out for a reason. But it just sucks that when you know I have some friends, no offense, that especially in the neo-pagan crowd, they're not all the way authentic. They're in the pagan part of the New Age movement, but they don't free think. They still kind of let themselves get, you know, they're kind of still gullible, you know, on trusting stuff, you know. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, like some doctors are really out for your good health, but some are not. They're just there to make money because, you know, a customer healed is a customer lost. And some of them are still, you know, so no offense to them, but, you know, you just got to realize, you know, it sucks when you're, you know, what if they're not around, you know, you're kind of alone, you know. So it's good to learn how to isolate yourself, learn how to be introvert, but at the same time, you wish you had an ally, you know, in your town, and that's not always the case. So that's my take on the most painful experiences of spiritual awakening. I hope this still inspires you guys to open up your chakras, even if you haven't. And hopefully it inspires other people and realizes that they're not alone on this. You have other allies. We'll fight together. One day we'll all be united. Strong style. All the way. If you like this video, please hit that like and subscribe button. Smash it. Pow! Sorry. Have a good one. Think spring.